Today's question is, are you a bridge that's falling apart? Or do you have a margin of safety? My name is Pete. I call this channel Grandpa Fitness because I'm the right age to be a grandpa, even if I'm not literally a grandpa. And the question I just started with is a trick question, because when you get past middle age, we're all falling apart. The real question is there anything we can do about it to preserve our abilities or even temporarily improve them? But here's why I ask. If you drive around North America for long enough, you've probably come across a bridge that had a posted weight limit on it. Maybe it says no more than 3 tons on this bridge, no more than 10 tons on this bridge. It might actually have different weight limits depending on the size of the truck that you're driving, because a short truck that concentrates all the weight in one small place is riskier than a long truck that spreads the weight out over a long distance. You may already know this, but that posted weight limit is almost certainly not the actual weight that will cause the bridge to fall. If you're driving your 18-wheeler and you just went through the weigh station and your weight load is 3 tons, but then right after the weigh station, before you got to the bridge, you bought a 1-pound bag of Doritos to give yourself a snack, that 3 tons plus 1 pound that you're hauling is probably not going to make the bridge fall down. The reason is they figured out what load will actually make the bridge fall, and they've designed in a safety factor. Maybe it can really handle 6 tons, maybe it can really handle 5 tons, maybe it can really handle 9 tons, but they've taken that actual figure way down for safety. And we can come up with naive examples of why that might be necessary. Let's say Joe truck driver is pulling onto one end of the bridge with a 2.5 ton load, and he looks at that 3 ton sign, he says, great, I'm fine. But meanwhile, down at the other end, maybe Jane truck driver can't see him, and she's pulling on with 2 tons. So now you've got 2.5 on one end and 2 tons on the other, and they're gonna meet in the middle, and it's gonna be 4.5 tons. You want that bridge to stay up. So they're gonna give you a 3 ton limit just to be safe. So how does this apply to us as human beings? Well, human beings are self-repairing in a way that bridges aren't. But we don't necessarily think about our extra capacity until it's too late and we've already lost it. So let's say that you can pick a delivery from Amazon up off your porch, no problem. And you say, hey, I've got the extra capacity I need. But now you don't do anything about that, and you don't have to pick up that load off the porch every day. And meanwhile, you're slowly declining in your capacity, and you don't know that you are. Unfortunately, the old phrase, use it or lose it, has actual application in our lives as human beings. We can preserve our capabilities, we can improve our capabilities, but if we're not doing that regularly, our capabilities will slowly decline. And the way a lot of us get caught is we think we can do something because we did it a year ago, but meanwhile, we can't do what we thought we could because our ordinary lives are not about pushing ourselves to the limit every darn day. Do you need to run a marathon every day? Probably not. So have you kept your excess cardiovascular capacity? Maybe you have and maybe you haven't. Do you need to be able to pick up your own body weight off the floor every day? Probably not. So have you got the excess capacity that you need to pick up that Amazon package? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I want us all to think about ourselves as a bridge that needs to be preserved and that needs to be strengthened on a regular basis, so that when surprises happen, we still have more extra capacity than we think we need, because sooner or later, we're gonna keep declining no matter what we do, and we wanna be able to not suddenly find ourselves in a situation that's beyond our abilities and where we do something that we used to be able to handle and now it breaks us, or now it sets us back. Now we've got an injury, now we've got a pulled muscle, now we've got a fractured leg or spine. I'm in this weird situation the past several months where the same bike rides that were healthy for me are starting to give me some trouble. And I've had to take time off my bike And now that I'm finally resolving my issues and getting back to health, it turns out I've got less capacity than I did a year or two ago. But where I don't want to end up is having less capacity next year than I do right now. And the way I can work on that is by putting myself back in training and getting my strength back. Whatever your margin of safety is, don't let it slip away without taking action.